All right. Hmm. Hello. You're in? Can you go to my site?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you see a live feed?
I do.
Do you hear me?
Well, I don't see. I see.
You should just see that. Yeah.
Live on YouTube.
Yeah, here you go. Do you see me now? Do you see me now?
What are you supposed to
Okay.
do? Mean, do you see me now?
Well, that would mean that when you look on your screen. Okay. Okay, please stop. You are looking at the live feed that starts in about 3 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's not what we're looking at yet because I have not gone public yet. You're looking at what doesn't work. I need you to stand by.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going public now. So theoretically, if you go look in my live feed or refresh to a couple RVing with Joe, you should be able to see this feed. And it's going to be the same thing. Well, go to live.
What do you mean go to live?
Okay. See where it says RVing with Joe, live show Q&A, live. Okay, there's if you go, you see where it might say videos, shorts, playlists, or anything like that? Anything on your? It's okay.
No.
It's all right, honey.
People are waiting. It's still
I know.
17 seconds.
I know I need to kill that feed. I need to go. Bye.
All right, bye.
Hope this works. Hello, folks. Sorry about the delay here. Just a few tech issues. I'll be right with you. All right. Well, we had to, I had a scheduled feed that I had set up, but we had tech issues. So I just started a fresh feed. Hopefully, the few people that were waiting on that feed figure it out and come on over. Hello, Mike, Mark, special hello to Cindy, Walnut Creek Woodworks. Hello, everybody. Just getting settled in here. It's looks like it's going to be my first episode ever here. That's going to be a full live episode. So I appreciate everyone's patience as I figure it all out. So hopefully, if somebody could just chat and say that they can hear me and that they can see me, that would be helpful. Hopefully, you can hear me and see me. Yay, Alberta. Hey, Dieter, how you doing, buddy? Thank you very much. Great. Yeah, I hope everyone did have a good Christmas. I was just having more leftover turkey today for lunch. My wife made an awesome turkey. Great. It's good to know I'm coming through clear. Hello, Mike, Paul, Aunt G. Boy, we're getting lots of people coming in. That's great. That's great. Again, thanks everybody for this. Yeah. I actually put together a little bit of a show, so I'm not just sitting here staring at a chat trying to figure out what to talk about. So hopefully I can entertain you guys. Hello, Nick and Dieter, my Ember friends. Here we are. So Thunder Lake. Oh, so you're not that's not home, right? That must be your spot, right, Nick? Anyway. All right. So we're going to talk about a few different things today. Let me pop over to, let's see if this works. All right. You guys can see that. And how's Linus and Lizzie? They are upstairs with Johanna currently. And keeping my dogs are keeping away from the sound here, or else they will be barking. You may hear them before the show is over. Let's see here. All right. So let me go to this next thing here. All right. Well, we're going to get to the Q&A a little bit. Clear Creek, Arizona. Hello, little C. So I was going to go over a few of these things. Covered some of them in other videos a little bit, but I thought we'd recap, go over a little bit of just the road trips we did this year, because that was the reason I started the channel. Go through some fun facts about the channel, some metrics, some interesting numbers that have come up. It's been a very successful year. I'm going to go through some of the most popular videos of the year. Talk about my eyebrows, because everybody seems to be talking about my eyebrows. I got a little got some comments about that to show. Question and answer. So I've assembled some questions from the comment sections of various videos, kind of went through and harvested all the questions people have had. You can, of course, put your thanks, Cindy. You can put your questions in the chat, and hopefully we can harvest them here towards the end. I'm not sure if Johanna's logged in or not yet. I know we were having tech issues upstairs too. Anyway, so last thing we're going to do is the top 10 RVs of RVs Gone Wild in 2024. I know a lot of folks have chimed in or joined the channel because of RVs Gone Wild. And so I wanted to go through and kind of highlight, out of the hundreds, if not 1,000 plus RVs I've shown, what were some of the craziest ones. So I'll be showing those in a moment. Let's see here. What is the next slide? I should have memorized this a little better. Yeah, well, we got the road trips coming up. Hey, Star Chasers, how's it going, Mike? Mike and I got some people on this channel, like Cindy and Mike, who I've known for decades. I won't say how many, but yeah, we got some old friends on here. Thanks for joining. So let's just jump into it. I mean, I got an hour to cover here. Again, if you have any questions, that you just chime into the chat. I'll be watching. Let's see here what we got from Johanna. She's logged in. Oh, cool. So Johanna's watching the chat as well. Yeah, she'll keep track of any questions for me. Thank you, Johanna. And she'll help assembling them towards the end. Yeah, Star Chasers, very, very, very long ago. Oh, and Cindy says hello to Johanna too. Cool. So real quick here, let's go through the road trip. So I covered a lot. If anybody didn't see online, I did about 70 days on the road. And that doesn't include all the times I picked up the RV for maintenance or to get it ready. So it was definitely more days than that I was towing, but 70 days. So helps me justify owning a truck if I'm using it that often, and owning an RV, right? People don't use them enough. So the first thing we did was, I think it was actually on January 1st, I decided to go to Stave Lake, an entirely horribly stupid idea. I went to the mud flats. To see how it performed, and I found out how it performed. It got stuck. The good thing is I got stuck in an area that was a controlled environment. I knew there was dozens of 4x4s around. Somebody would pull me out, and multiple people came to my rescue. We pulled it out. It's better to get stuck once in a controlled environment, so when I get stuck in the field, right, I kind of have a little more confidence about what works and what doesn't work. So lost a little bit of gear on that one. I lost a GoPro somewhere in the mud there, but it was a good day nonetheless. I had a lot of fun, and all of the lower mainland was entertained. There was a good 100 people out there. I ended up on Facebook, a couple of different pictures people took. So yeah, don't take your RV into the mud. It was the lesson. The next thing we did is we went to Porto Cove. That was a January trip, so it was pretty darn cold and early in the holiday, but it's right by the water, so it doesn't really snow there except in extreme events. And it was really nice. We went up to Squamish, went up towards Whistler, and it's a beautiful spot. It's really hard to get into during the summer, but not so hard in January. We went to Thurston Meadows. This was really the shakedown trip. This is where we went and tried out Starlink for the first time. Some of these new battery packs I got, like from All Power, and we went out there because it's off grid. It's a campsite very close by. No low risk. Yeah, that's very true, little C. Basically this place is within like an hour of our house. So if we did have any problems, no problems. I could always run back to the house. We went to Thurston Meadows. This was again our first off-grid kind of test of the rig for the summer because I knew we had a big season coming up. Let me keep on moving here. We did our first big trip out to Princeton and Headley. Again, not too far. All the trips I started closer and then we worked our way out further and further and further. Here, let me get off the screen here for a second. There we go. This is a real nice spot. We actually ran into another family and kind of hung out with them for the weekend. It's always nice when you just end up hanging out with strangers near your campsite because y'all just jive together. So it was really nice. We weren't alone on that trip. Then we went out to the tulip fields. This was actually just an overnighter. This is very close to our house. We wanted to get there first morning so I could get there with the drone before anybody got there and shoot all that cool video. So we went to the Tulip Festival. Again, if you're anywhere in the Abbotsford area in the spring and you can go to the Tulip Festival, this is a very unique experience. It's a lot of color and it was real beautiful. So it was definitely worth taking out the RV, even if it was just for an overnighter. All right. Let's keep on moving. Nakusp and Castlegar, all those funny BC names. So Nakusp has the Nakusp Hot Springs. It is a private hot springs that we went to for one night. Johanna got some extra soaking in, and then we, after a day or two in that area, we basically went down to Castlegar, and Castlegar has a whole bunch of cool bridges. That's kind of one of my favorite things about it. It's where I think the Columbia and another river, I believe, all come together right at the town. So there's bridges all over the place, old bridges that have been decommissioned that you can walk on, other bridges, obviously like this one that you drive across. Definitely like Castlegar. So let's see, let's go on to the next one. So this is now, we're getting into July here. So this is now getting into the thick of it. And we went out for our first long trip to Cherryville and Caledon. This is one of those ones where I worked during the week. We went out and used Campendium with Campertunity and some of the other online services. Basically, these are private properties where people rent them out to RVers. And let's see. Hey, Mike, how you doing there? Hopefully this session I'll be doing right now will end up on the channel. So if somebody does miss it, like your wife, Mike, she can come and watch the replay. So shout out to you, Mike, and your wife. I hope you're getting some good Boxing Day bonus items today. So anyway, we basically, this was our first trip really trying these private campgrounds where we were basically staying, on the home site or farms of various people. And we really took a liking to it. People are always really nice. They kind of leave you alone. So you're not really interacting all throughout the day with these folks. The spaces were far away from their homes. So that's what we learned with this Cherryville and Caledon one, was how much we like these private campgrounds on people's property. Let's see here. Was the next trip? What was? The Gold Run. So we went to Yale, Lillooet, and Pemberton. These are all a little further out from our home, but still fairly close. This was our big gold run. This first time we ever tried to we call it mine for gold or pan for gold. These are public panning reserves. People have been getting gold here since the original gold rush. And as you can see in the picture here, we still found gold now. I mean, you just get tiny little flakes. It's nothing that's going to pay for a tank of gas, but it is really fun to dig around and then all of a sudden actually find gold, just like the old days. So if you are coming up to BC, I do recommend you try some gold panning because it doesn't take too much to find a few little flakes and it's fun. You get gold fever. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the Snowbird RV show. I don't know if anyone here was there. I had some fans actually show up at the show and say hi. This is where I was checking out all the rigs for what was off-road worthy. I found that a lot more rigs were using the independent shocks from Kurt. That's what I have on my trailer. And I'm a big fan of the independent suspensions on these trailers. Basically, there's been times where we've left a can of Coke on our counter and we go drive off, and then I stop at the next stop and I go into the trailer and the open can is just sitting there on the counter still. And that's those independent shocks, man. It's a real nice thing. So the nice thing about this trip is I found that there was Nobo and a few other manufacturers I can't remember right now that are all starting to use those independent shocks. So that was a good show. I'm glad I went. It's small though. It's the first time I went to a British Columbia RV show, and it's small. All right, Alberta. Dieter and Nick, remember this? They're on our chat right now. This one went to the Alberta, was it Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo? I always say it wrong. It's an awesome event if you're in Alberta right now. In fact, today, I will say, if you go to the Alberta Outdoor Expo's website today, you'll find that they're offering two for one because it's Boxing Day. So we just bought our tickets today. We will be there next year. So if you want to say hi, you know where to find me. I'll be at the Alberta Outdoor Expo next June, I think it is, in northern Alberta. Well, central Alberta, I guess. Anyway, I definitely think about looking that up, and I'll throw a link in, even though by the end of the day that those tickets will be back to regular price, but there's still early bird specials, so get them now. Yeah, so Alberta, I love Alberta. Not only have I met some of the coolest RVers I know in Alberta, but it's also a really well, it kind of reminds me of as a Canadian and American dual citizen, I definitely enjoy the yeah, the Ember Village. I definitely enjoyed the the American likeness. I don't know if I'm insulting anybody here in Alberta, but Alberta is just a little bit more like the States than say BC. And so I find it enjoyable. I find it a little more free, like the way the States are. I love BC too, don't get me wrong, but Alberta always makes it feel like I'm kind of going to the States, but staying in Canada. It's also gorgeous. The Eastern Rockies and the Rockies of Banff, Jasper are some of the most gorgeous places in North America. So it's all win in Alberta for me. Also, gas prices are cheaper. And for somebody towing around an RV, that matters. So big fan of Alberta, and we'll be going back again in July. I do want to call out that at this here we go. So at this Alberta Expo, we actually had an Ember gathering. So I have an Ember trailer you've seen, I'm sure, on my channel. You can see it there in the pictures. We had the Aurora that night. Dieter and Nick, they're also in here, and their wives, Jeanette, Antoinette, they're all Ember owners. We've all met at that expo, and we're all gathering there. So we have a Ember Village, it's been called. We gather all of our Embers around at this outdoor expo, and we expect next year to be even bigger. So if there are other Ember owners who are on here, or if you're not an Ember owner, come and join us at the Ember Village. It's the coolest part of the whole place as far as I'm concerned. Let's see here. We also got let's see another question here. Oh, nice. Yeah, we got Walnut Creek Woodwork said they're going to be going to Quartzsite this season. The price is cheaper going in January. No, I mean it's 14 days free everywhere in Quartzsite. If you don't know this, Quartzsite has 14-day free areas. High Jolly area, La Paz is another one, I think. You'll find them when you go down there. Ask anybody. Then there's the long-term areas. Those get more expensive. Those are like they just raised the price, so I think it's like $600 or something like that. I don't know. Check one of my recent videos about it. But yeah, I think they raised it to like $600 or something. But you get to stay there all winter, so it's you're staying at the RV parks. They're fairly cheap. There's a lot of them there. But as you get into January and February, it's high season, so that's when it's the most expensive. Again, I don't recommend, by the way, the High Jolly free area. I should mention that. They've built a sewer plant out there, and when the wind blows in the right direction, not good. So stay away from the High Jolly campground, the free campground. So that's it on Quartzsite. I got distracted there. Let's finish up this trip here. Oregon, that was the last. Turns out to be, it looks like the last trip of the year. I thought we were going to do one this Christmas break, but we got too busy. So we decided to go to In-N-Out Burger. Johanna and I are huge fans of In-N-Out Burger. And the closest In-N-Out Burger is currently in Salem, Oregon. About 800 miles away, I think it was, or 800 kilometers, one of the two. And hey, Dieter, how's it going, buddy? You and Nick and Dieter. Hey, guys. Yeah, we went to In-N-Out Burger, but obviously that's not the only reason to go to. There's a commercial going on, apparently. According to my wife, apparently commercials are interrupting this. Thank you, YouTube. I don't know if everybody is on a commercial break right now, but apparently my wife said she's on a commercial break. Interesting. I wonder if you're all seeing a commercial at the same time. Not here. Okay. It looks like different people are seeing commercials at different times. So, oh well. Where was I? Yeah, so In-N-Out Burger is my favorite burger place. We went down there. Obviously, that's not the only reason to go down. That would be a little too much. But no, we went down to go enjoy the week on the coast. I did another another week of work, and yeah, you know how it is. I work when I go on these trips, I basically work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That keeps my team supplied. I'm the only guy who does my job for my team. So when I'm on vacation, there's nobody else to do it. So that keeps them happy, keeps the work flowing, keeps the money coming in. And it also stretches out my vacation days. I still have the evenings after work to go check out each area that we're staying in. So it's the best of both worlds. I love this working on Tuesday through Thursday thing. And then I go back to 4-day weekends, basically in between. That's how we did this one. So, hey, what's up, C Cody? How you doing there? It's one of our Patreon members. Thank you, buddy. So is Cindy, by the way. She's our founding Patreon member. We'll be talking about that later. But anyway, that's kind of it. Those were the trips. You can see the whole list there. You can see the whole pile there. Hit the skip button of the commercials. Yes, hit skip. Don't worry about it. Anything you can do to stay away from the commercials. To be honest, I have a YouTube premium account, so I don't see commercials. Anyway, that was the last pictures we took from Oregon. Beautiful sunsets, a cool town called Tokeland, which just sounds like it was made for me. We'll just leave that as is. And that was it. That was the whole thing. We did British Columbia, we did Alberta, we did Washington, we did Oregon. That was our camping season from January to October, right? Or September. That was our whole camping season, and 70 days on the road, and I'm happy with that. Again, if you're going to buy this stuff like a truck and a trailer, you better get using it. Okay, well, let's just go into some fun facts. Let's see how we do on time. Good. All right. I don't know if everybody knows this, but my demographic skews a little older. I don't know if it's my gray hair here, but over 43% of the people who watch my channel are over the age of 65. So shout out to you. I'm sure there's a lot of retirees out there with RVs, and I'm glad you listened to this young whippersnapper here. We've got the 55 to 64-year-old. Those are 34%. And then my demographic, the 45 to 54-year age group, is only 14%. And after that, the kids just don't really watch my channel. It's why I don't do a lot of TikTok, and I don't really worry about shorts too much anymore. Cindy's feeling young. There you go. See? And if you're feeling older, there's a whole lot of people right alongside you. I mean, I try to keep that in mind. The good news is since it's my demographic and people older than me, I can use pop culture references and things that you all get. We all watched the movies in the 80s and the 90s. And so, I'm amongst my people. So I'm pretty comfortable with this demographic. It makes my life a little easier. It's 81% male and 18% female. I'm not sure what the discrepancy between there is, but hey, it doesn't surprise me, right? I mean, where is there not male oriented, percentages, right? But shout out to the 18%. Shout out to the ladies out there. Thanks for joining, and I hope we can get this more balanced, right? I hope I'm not scaring away the ladies with my male mindset. No, anyway, let's see here. Yeah, Dave Beto says, here's a good fact. When boondocking alone, it's not a good idea to watch slasher movies before bed. Yeah, I would say that's probably not a good idea. I've definitely had a few moments, as much as I'm an adult, out with the dogs. Look, they have the dogs, but I'm out there in the middle of nowhere and it's pitch black and that last pee walk, and I'm not afraid of the dark, but it gets a little spooky out there, right? So I hear you. Anyway, let's move on to the next chat. Where's everybody from? Well, as you guys know, I'm a dual citizen. Most of you hopefully know that. I'm a Canadian now, but I was an American originally, and 80% of my audience is American. Followed by nearly 10% Canadian. We've got some Australians in UK and a little bit of Mexico. To my Mexican friends, I'm thinking of trying to clone this channel off with some Spanish translation. So stand by for that. That's something I'm going to try to do in 2025, is make the Spanish version of this channel, make it more accessible. And so this is why I kind of make it a little more catered towards the United States. It's 80% of my crowd, and I speak American, right? I speak in miles and Fahrenheit, and it kind of works that way. Oh wow! Hey, thanks for the power like, the super like there. That's awesome, buddy. Yeah, nice man, Cody C, dude. I appreciate it. Or Power Horse is his YouTube name goes. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna explain how that works a little later, but yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. So anyway, the point here is, I live in Canada, but it's kind of almost like as much an American channel as it is a Canadian channel, right? It's just inevitably how it ends up being. And here's the coolest numbers. How much success we had because of you folks watching all this stuff. We had in 2023, I only had around 220,000 views. This year, we had 3,300,000 views. It freaks me out to know that people clicked on my videos over 3 million times. I'm humbled. I'm touched. I'm more than appreciative. It's hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes. That's a lot of people. And then the subscribers, we went from 1,300 in 2023 to 17,000 here in 2024. Now, hopefully we can get to, we're really close to 20,000 and I'm hoping we can get there. I imagine most people watching this are already subscribers, but yeah, thank you, Dieter. Yeah, thanks, Nick, everybody. Yeah, it's, yeah, I'm humbled and again and I didn't think we'd hit like 10,000 in the first year and here we are pushing 20. When did 15? Yeah, where did 15,000 happen? Great point, Nick. If you watch my Alberta video, you'll see that while we were at the Alberta Expo, one of Dieter's good friends, oh, I'm totally forgetting her name now. Hopefully Dieter types it in. But she basically subscribed there and became the 15,000th subscriber right there at the expo, at the Alberta Expo. So that was fun. I was really hoping we'd hit it when we were there, and she made sure. Kelly, yes, thank you, Kelly. Kelly was our 15,000th subscriber, and the question is, who's going to be our 20,000th? I was really hoping to hit it by the end of the year. It's looking close, but I don't know if we'll quite get it. But yes, thank you, Kelly. I need another Kelly in my life to get me to 20,000. So anyway, the last thing is watch hours. That's what really counts. Yeah, that's what YouTube cares most about. 13,000 watch hours in 2023. Collectively, 284,000 watch hours. 250,000 hours of humanity was spent watching my videos. I sometimes think, I don't know if that's the best idea, that we had 250,000 of humanity's time that could have been curing cancer and feeding starving people. We're all just watching my videos, but who knows how many countless watch hours I've generated myself on YouTube. So again, these numbers blow my mind when I think about them. So you folks are a big part of it, and I want to thank you. Most popular videos. Let's just hop onto that. So here's the numbers, the views and the watch time. RVs Gone Wild is more than the top 10. They're like the top, 30 or 40. Pretty much most of the popular videos and most of the hours are because of the RVs Gone Wild series. It's why I keep making it. It's what people want, and it generates views. It generates, people like it. It's kind of plateaued out, so I think I've got my user base that's interested in it. I've been toying with other types. We have the homeless and RV stuff. That's actually my most successful video now. Is that homeless RVing is about to get worse one? It has some of the most awful, has some of the most awful comments in it. I got to say, that one's a little out of control. I'm not commenting on it. I'm just letting it run. We're at like 1,400 comments and everything in there. And I don't want to get into politics in this channel, but you have everything from like, how much, Trump's made it happen, how much Biden made it happen, how much it's Trudeau, to how much it's Pierre. Oh my gosh. It's just a tug fest in there of people screaming at each other. But it generated a lot of views and it continues to generate views. So I am looking at what other areas I can get into. We did the talking about rest areas being shut down, a little bit about some of the unspoken RV rules that a lot of people kind of took to that. Yeah, so the Ember stuff, I'll be honest, this next year you'll probably see Ember specific content start to die off. It's really doesn't generate that much views, and my Ember is kind of old. It doesn't represent the Ember what Ember is like today, right? My experiences are what it was like at the very beginning of the company over 2 years ago, and it's not becoming as relevant as it once was. Hey, Amarillo, Texas, have some barbecue brisket for me. It's my favorite part of Texas. All right. So you guys can see, hopefully you see the screen. Oh, you don't see the screen. I just realized I'm talking and you don't see my screen, which is useless. Anyway, there's my video list. That was awkward. There's the video list. You can see it's mostly RVs Gone Wild. And again, the top like 20 or 30 are really all RVs Gone Wild. But after you get through all those, here's the other ones. So yeah, I think this led me to the next. I think the next slide was about the oh yeah, a little more. So you can see that Ember RV really doesn't get a lot of views. Really, most people don't care about my camping videos either, apparently. But yeah, and then RV's Gone Wild's been ruling the roost, so I'll keep making those, but I'm gonna be trying to make some more new kind of commentary style ones. The homeless one's getting a little played out, but I'm gonna try to come up with some, I got some interesting ideas. I'll give you guys a hint since you're all here. The next video I'll probably be working on is, and we'll just leave it at this, it's probably, the title will be something like, are you sure your wife actually likes to go RVing? But we'll just leave it like that. I think that's going to be one of my next subjects. Hey, Cody, I didn't realize you were down by down there in Utah in that area. Yeah, I wanted to get to Hurricane in March to go see Matt's off-road games again this year, but I will not be making it this year. Unfortunately, just logistics are not in my favor. Unfortunately, but I'd love to go down there. I'm so jealous. That is Utah. If you're an RVer, you need to get to Utah. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, homelessness and RVs. I did a lot of these. I'm not going to go into it much, but this was just sort of a, I guess, kind of highlighting what I was just talking about. This area has got a lot of interest from people. It gets a very different crowd, a very different conversation happening. I'm trying not to take sides as much as just point out the factors. I don't want to get murdered by, figuratively speaking, in the comments by some of the people. But no, I've not been. Oh my gosh. Every time I look at Utah, so I'm distracted by the chat here again. Every time I look where to go in Utah, I find like a new area and the list is long. I could spend weeks in Utah and not even begin to touch all the places I want to go besides going back to Valley of the Gods and such. Yeah, I might talk to you on the side there about good ideas of where to go when I do go to Utah. But getting back to this, let me finish up on that. Is that I am looking for any other ideas. If you think there's good issues that need to be discussed out there about RVing, feel free to send me an email or chat. I forgot to put my email address in any of these slides, but you should probably know by now. It's in all of my descriptions, and that is RVingWithJoe at gmail.com. It's RVingWithJoe at gmail.com. Send me your ideas. I'd like to know what are you thinking needs to be discussed that's not being discussed. Yeah, let's go on to the next thing. Oh yeah, the eyebrows. The eyebrows. All right. Star Chaser points out that you're probably making more money on YouTube compared to our paid ILM days. I don't know. Maybe I started in the mailroom at ILM, so I think maybe adjusted for inflation now. Still not making mailroom money. In fact, I was going to talk about that. I'll explain actually. Since you brought it up, Star Chaser, and I already talked about the numbers, I'll just bring this up. I'm not going to talk about like exactly how much money I make on YouTube or what my income is, but I'll put it like this. I put about 1,000 hours into a year into this. It's about half time. And I make about 15% this year. I made about 15% of my normal job income, right? So I have my normal job, which pays for this house and everything else. And all of this YouTube activity is is about 15% of my regular pay. So that tells you where I'm at, right? So I do about half the amount of work as my day job, right? 1,000 hours of work a year, and I get about 15% more pay. It's not exactly time and a half, but I don't do this for the money. I do this for the fun, and I got to make a little money so that it justifies my time. I could be spending my time doing other things, including making other money on the side. This is what I do on the side, and I love it. So anyway, let's go back to this. Staring at my face here, at least like this. So if you guys don't know and haven't seen, I get a lot of comments about my eyebrows. I did not know that eyebrows were a thing. I didn't know my eyebrows were a thing. I didn't know. I never really paid much attention to them other than keeping, a little trim. But yeah, apparently there's two people here, Wee Wee and another person on the show, who've commented probably 3 dozen times on my eyebrows. But you can see here, they like my eyebrow game. Oh, Nick, you want to know what I use? I use DaVinci Resolve, Nick, the free version. So yeah, what's up with these eyebrows? They want to know, and they wanted to seriously know what's up with these eyebrows. I guess they're emotive, bushy. I don't know. Another one, Crouton Utan sent me a dozen or more comments. They said they came for the video and stayed for the eyebrows. They said when they were little, they never thought eyebrows would be this important. I never did either. And they noticed that I got them shaped. So that's right. Eyebrows are looking better these days. Oh, my wife is back. That's funny. My wife keeps texting me every time she gets a commercial. Oh, thank you very much there, Mike. Yeah, I try to keep him trim, I got a day job. I got to be on camera all day for my work, my day job too. Anyway, a few other people mentioned, they said, are they fake? How does it get to go up and down like that? I've never seen anything like it. They're emotive. I have emotive eyebrows. What can I say? What else did people say here? Are those eyebrows or pet caterpillars? Uh, there's nothing wrong with your eyebrows, Frank said. So thank you, Frank. It's good to hear. When you read 50 comments about your eyebrows, you start getting a little self-conscious. What are these someone's? Love the eyebrows, makes you feel human. I don't know what that means. Your eyebrows look like cowboy. You shouldn't cap Holmes. Nice eyebrows. That guy was actually giving me crap for making fun of people on my channel. So, oh well. Too bad. And this guy, my eyebrows are apparently whack. Cindy said she loves my eyebrows. Thank you very much, Cindy. I need those moments of recovery. Those eyebrows, just saying. I can't. I gave you a like just for the eyebrows alone. I'll take a like for any reason. And why do they bug you? Well, they said they're impressive. And if they go bald, they can transplant them. I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to need more eyebrows for transplants if we're going to use that. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. I see them all the time. And, honestly, I didn't even understand why people were commenting on them at first. And I don't think I fully understand still. Anyway, yes, Matt's off-road recovery, Matt writes. He just retracted that message. So whatever, he didn't say that. We were talking about Utah a minute ago. Matt's off-road recovery, if you haven't gone to his page, he's probably the most inspirational YouTuber for me. And I got to meet him when I was down there. And yeah, you should check out Matt's off-road recovery YouTube channel. You'll see the most amazing things. Anyway, Q&A. We're getting down there. Let's see here. We're at the half-hour mark. I haven't seen many questions come in here, so I'm going to start going through the questions of what I got in the last week. I'm going to take a quick sip of water break, I guess we'll say. Hey, Brian, ATV, I know we still need to meet up, buddy. It looks like it's not going to be till spring. I'm going to take a quick break. I will be right back. Good question, Cindy. I'm going to be answering that in just a moment. Just stand by, everybody. I'll be right back. And we are back. All right. Okay. I had to go fix it exactly. I could see they were a little off. This bright light doesn't help either, right? Because if I turn my head one way or another, the lights make them look like they're different sizes. Anyway, what do I have here for questions? So I think this goes right to what Cindy was asking, and that's my next year's trips. Nick was asking this as well. Well, I'm not going to Tuck. I'm not going to go to Tuck again next year. I really wanted to, but I'm looking at the math. I'm looking at what stands in the way, the math on time and the math on dollars. I don't need to air all of our dirty laundry, but my wife and I are in the visual effects and animation industry. That's our day jobs. The industry has been halted after the strike, and it's only now starting to pick up. So we're starting to see the things pick up, starting to see the industry pick up, basically. I don't want to give too many details, but as the industry picks up, we'll have more funding to do things in life that we like. Right now, the industry is very quiet, and that's affecting our bottom line. And it's not cheap to do RVing. So for time reasons and to take the pressure off the money reasons, we will not be going to Tuck. That being said, I'm going to Alberta in June. We know that because I've already bought the tickets for the Alberta Expo, and we're thinking of using that as a launching point to go north. How north? Well, for me, I mentioned a Baja trip. Oh man, I'm still working on North. Heater. Yes, I am interested in a Baja trip, but it's not going to happen in 2025. It'd be nice. So yeah, we're looking at heading north this summer to the land of 24-hour sun. In other words, how far into the Yukon can we make it? When I head north, in the summer, it's eventually somewhere around the BC border, just a little north of that. You hit that point where you start to get 24-hour daylight or near 24-hour daylight. Doesn't have to be exactly 24 hours, but I really want to try that. Dieter says he only goes south. That's because he lives in Alberta, where it's frozen 8 months of the year. I live in BC, where it's a little more temperate, and I definitely want to go north for the summer here. Alberta, northern Canada is so beyond gorgeous. It's not only gorgeous, but it has the same qualities that I really like in the Southwest, as far as sort of being remote and alone. I love people, I love you all, but I really like getting away from everyone in the world. And these places afford you to do that. You can go and really go be by yourself, or be with your family, alone and away from everyone and everywhere up north, in ways, like by many miles from the nearest person. Again, much like the desert Southwest, except with trees. And so I'm definitely heading north. That's something we've really planned so far, is that we're going to Alberta, and from there, since I'm already up there, we should keep going north. It saves money, since I don't want to, takes a lot of gas to go north, and if I'm already in Edmonton, I can just head up from there. So that's the main core of the plan. Usually during the Christmas break, we plan our summer, and I've been so busy with this channel, I haven't gotten beyond that. Um, every year there's a big conference that dictates my summer, and that conference is in Vancouver this year, and so that makes life a lot easier for me. I will be able to travel easier because I don't have to worry about relocating. Let's see here. What is see? Yeah, I see your question about the is it turducken when you have a vehicle inside a toy hauler? I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I kind of mentioned in my turducken, if it's a light week, for sure. If I got a lot of turducken, I might skip that one. So we'll see. Let's see here. I'll tell you what, Star Chaser. The people in Canada were pretty damn polite even before the weed was legalized. But then again, I think they were all smoking it well before it was legalized. So what do you guys say about that? Anyway, let's go back to some questions. That's it for next year's trips. Somebody asked, I think Large Marge asked, how did Johanna and I meet? For those of you who don't know, we met at ILM, where Star Chasers and I used to know each other. We met at ILM. That's George Lucas's Industrial Light and Magic. I was in the mailroom. She was an intern. It's like the start of a movie. She came in. We met in like our first month together, and she went back to school while I stayed at ILM. And then when she finished school, she came back to ILM as a full-time employee. So that's where we got our start. And let's see what we got going on here. So we were sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, we met at ILM. We've been together ever since. We got married a few years after we met. It was in the mid 90s when we met, towards the late 90s when we got married. And we've been in the industry ever since. So for my wife and I, our life, our industry is inseparable. Like most of our friends are industry friends. And it wasn't until we got in RVing, where it's recently meeting friends like Dieter and Nick and some other folks we met after we moved to Canada, that we finally have friends who are not in the visual effects industry. But most of our friends are business friends, and our lives together and our careers together, they are one. So that's how I met my wife. We've been together for over 25 years. We've been married for over 25 years. We've been together for almost 30. So yeah, that's how my wife and I met. And yeah, I should mention this. My wife and I are entirely different people than who we were when we met. And the secret, we feel, was being able to accept the change that you go through all these massive changes in life, and you're going to change together in some ways, and you're going to change very differently in other ways, and you just have to learn to adjust to that, and accept that it's not going to be the same marriage 30 years later, and so adjust to the change and communicate. That's what we do. So so Yeah, oh, there we go. I think you probably did name him after no. Oh, Chewbacca. But I see it's a joke, Mike. It took me a minute there. All right. Star Chaser's the comedian here. All right. Keep on the messages. Keep on these questions. So some technical questions. Thanks, Cindy. She says I'm the same Joe. So what was the fix? This is some technical stuff. What was the fix for electrical issue? Yeah, for a couple of camping trips, we basically were running off the generator and had a 12 volt. It turns out simply it was the batteries. We had burned out our Battleborn batteries because we didn't have enough for our setup. Battleborn recommended we have 3. We were equipped with 2 100 milliamp batteries. You need something more, according to Battleborn, according to Mastervolt. That's our inverter company. So Woody's, our RV dealer, talked to Battleborn and got us 2 replacement batteries for the 2 that went bad. Ember, the company, stepped up and added a 3rd Battleborn battery for free. And so now I have 3 brand new 100 milliamp hour, 100 amp hour, sorry, 3 100 amp hour brand new lithium ion batteries after having the RV for 2 years, and everything's been great. So that was my problem. Basically, we were underpowered and we were using the full use of our inverter, and we eventually basically burned out the batteries. They've been replaced, and kudos to Woody's, Ember, Battleborn, and Mastervolt for all working together in a perfect situation. So, let's see here. Next thing on the tech question, and then Johanna's sent me some questions as well that have been asked. What was the low voltage problem with your television? I like to watch TV when I camp, yes. And it turns out the wire was just underperforming. For whatever reason, power wasn't getting to the TV, the full, 12 plus volts. Basically, Woody's and Ember worked it out so that they went and ran a new wire across the rig from the fuse box to the TV. Didn't charge me a dime for it. It was the very last warranty repair I think I got. And so that's been working ever since. So that was a problem with my TV. It kept turning off for no good reason, and it's because it wasn't getting enough voltage. That's it on the tech questions I think I had. Johanna had a question. Somebody asked, oops, hold on. Oh, Networth asked if I was going to do a loop through the US, West USA, where would you go? Oh, that's very, well, it's simple. I would go through Utah. I would make sure to hit up Moab, Hurricane. I would try to hit up, if I haven't been there before, Bryce Canyon. I would skip the Grand Canyon because you can always go to the Grand Canyon as its own thing. It takes a lot of time just to see that one thing. I would absolutely try to go through Monument Valley, Valley of the Gods. That's me. There's another area that's sort of another loop that takes you through an area called like the San Rafael Swell and Capitol Reef. Those 2 areas are very popular routes that most people go, but I didn't because I really wanted to go out to Monument Valley and Valley of the Gods, and you can only do so many loops. Pardon me. So as a result, I would, if hopefully you got that, or you can watch this video again and get that list from me, but those are the general places I would go. And if you look at my March videos from March 2023, sorry, 2022. If you look at my March 2022 videos, hold on. Yeah, I went through the Southwest and did a bunch of those places. So if you look at those videos, you'll see where I went to a lot of the places I just mentioned, and you can get a sense of whether you want to go there. Yeah, another mention is the hole in the wall. If you're driving up through Utah, you're probably going to drive by Hole in the Wall, which is kind of an interesting tourist spot. Do stop there. It's worth it. It's an interesting place. I'll just leave it at that. You don't want to miss it. Okay. Yeah, if there's other places you think of in the Southwest, drop them in the chat here or in the comments. Bryce Canyon. Yep, Peter, I mentioned that. Absolutely, Bryce Canyon. Let's see what's next here. Did I ever post the parallel parking video? Oh God, don't mention stuff like that in my chat, Mike. Next thing you know, YouTube's just gonna turn it off and shut it down. Don't mention those kinds of words in my chat. Oh my gosh. Anyway, no, I don't remember that actually. I think that was before my time. Anyway, sorry, that was distracting. I did do I tried to do a video on parallel parking your RV. I did demonstrate a little bit in some shorts how you can do it. It's actually pretty easy. But I went to go shoot video for it twice and had tech difficulties both times. One time I went to fly my drone and I was in a no fly area, so I couldn't fly it. Another one was I was having cameras, the batteries weren't charged basically, so I couldn't record it. But I made a point to add it to my list. So sometime this winter, while I'm not camping, I'll go do a trip on I do a video on how to parallel park your RV trailer. And that's basically when you're pulling into town. And as long as you see 3 car spaces next to each other, you can generally, at least I can park my truck and trailer. And I'm going to show you the tricks to it because it's not as hard as you think it is. So, next thing, have you ever been to Wasteland Weekend? No, I haven't. Wasteland Weekend's like a Road Warrior, like Burning Man meets Road Warrior event in Southern California. It's kind of like cosplay meets, I don't know, all these Road Warrior vehicles and stuff. It looked like it would be a cool place to see RVs, but I haven't made it out there and probably won't. Let's see here. Oh, somebody asked about how do there was a shot where I had the drone flying over the RV, flying out to the water in Oregon. How did I get that shot? How do I get those shots? Well, I don't I don't want to explain all the details, but it's different legalities in um, the US versus Canada. But it comes down to if one person is driving, the other person, as long as they're legally allowed to fly the drone in that country, can then fly the drone while one person is driving. That's one easy way to get it. Technically speaking, these drones also will just lock in on the vehicle and follow it. I will say, technically speaking, you're not allowed to do that while driving, even though it's on autopilot. Basically, you're supposed to maintain visual line of sight. So I guess I'll say that a lot of times you see drone shots in my of my trailer that are often only a few seconds long. Often the shot that I got is only a few seconds long. Oh, looks like Walnut Creek Bird looks taken off. Take care, and you can always watch the rest of the video. Thanks for checking in. Yeah, so that's how I get the drone shots. Basically, it's a variety of ways. Different countries, I'll use different techniques. Different ones of us will drive or fly the drone depending on where we're at. But it's complicated and it takes a lot of work. And it's yeah, it's a challenge. But I love those drone shots. It's one of my favorite parts of making videos. How do you send in photos? I mentioned it earlier, and I really should have put the screen up here. And that is RVingWithJoe at gmail.com. That's RVing, RVing, with Joe at gmail.com. If you have cool pictures or photos, if you have just want to say hi, you can just send us an email. And I'm going to start asking people if you're sending me pictures of your RV, make sure to try to include interior pictures. I had some folks that follow the channel suggest that we should try to get interior photos. And I thought that's a darn fine good idea. Yeah, so if you're going to send me photos of your RV, try to send some interior photos too. You don't have to. That'd be nice. Okay, keep going. Is it homeless if one chooses to live in an RV? Man, I was asked this question's been asked like 100 times or more on my channel, even though I've done videos about that very same subject. And I'll just say it's a fine line between RVing and homelessness sometimes. If you're in a $200,000 rig and you've got $80,000 in the bank, you got health insurance and you're paying for your parking spot every night, you probably are not homeless. If you're living in a beat up old RV, waiting for your next, monthly government check coming in, and you're sleeping on on the street illegally, you're homeless. And somewhere in between there, everybody falls. There is no perfect answer for where it is, but having been kind of homeless in between 2 studio closures, living in an RV before, and having lived in an RV just by choice for a couple of years at an RV park, I can say I've been close to both ends of that spectrum, and it was the same RV both times. So there you go. Uh, all right, next question. Do you ever take a day off? Rarely. If you include the channel, I would say every day either I'm working or working on the channel. Occasionally Sunday afternoons, Sunday evenings, I try to relax a little more. But then the house falls behind a little bit. So yes, I am busier these days than I probably have been in my whole life. Have you heard any updates on later Ember models? I haven't heard anything about the build being better. I would say the builds have gotten better. Ember, when I got it, Ember was a very brand new company, and there were admittedly a lot of problems with my RV and other RVs that were made around that time. it's definitely gotten way better. I mean, they only had one place to go, right? Up from there. But no, they've gotten way better. But I will say, from the complaints I see, I'd say Ember is average. It's your average RV company. There are companies out there that like make the Arctic Fox. I think it's at Northwoods. I forgot the exact name, but the folks who make the Arctic Fox and a few other small, kind of more boutique style companies that really do have the reputation of making bulletproof RVs that just never die, never leak, and just work perfectly. Most RVs aren't like that, and Ember's no different. It's yet another RV company that they make really cool RVs, and I really love their RVs. I think their quality control and their build quality is average. And if you can get an average build quality in today's RV industry, that's a win as far as I'm concerned. So it's definitely leaps and bounds above what it once was. And I've had really great Ember warranty experiences, but that's almost entirely dependent on who your dealer is. If you've got a crappy dealer who's backlogged and not communicative, you're going to have a really rough warranty experience. If you have a good dealer and you create a good relationship with your dealer, like I do, you'll have a great. Yeah, another thing is if you own an RV, you become an RV mechanic. That is true. I am terrible with bolts and tools, but yeah, I've been in there. I'm right now fixing my drawers. I'm fixing my kitchen drawers, to be clear about that. And I've repaired all kinds of things on my RV now, and now that it's out of warranty, it's up to me to figure out most of that stuff. Although Highland RV, local sponsor that helped me with a few videos of this channel, is a great repairman, and I'll be using Highland RV for the more day-to-day repairs that are outside of my level. Star Chasers asked me a different question. Are you paying into Social Security up here? No, I'm paying into the Canadian Pension Fund. However, the Canadian Pension Fund and Social Security, US and Canada, have a treaty arrangement, so you can basically move all your credits from one country to the other at the end of the game. Like in life, when you get to that last round where at some point I will either, you can work in both countries and consolidate your Social Security and Canadian Pension Fund into one pool at the end. So that's a very different question. Anyway, let's go back to RVing questions. No, ask me anything you want. I said ask me anything. It's a great question. Have you met Bob Wells? Somebody asked me that. Bob Wells is one of the original YouTuber van life guys. He was in that movie Nomad or Nomadic, whatever that Coen Brothers movie was. He's well known in the industry. He's all over Quartzsite. No, I've never met him. Don't plan to, but it'd be fun to meet him, sure. Nick asked me a while back, did I roll through that stop sign in Princeton? Yes, I did. I rolled through that stop sign in Princeton. Not only that, but I may have been filming at the time, which is why you know that. But that would have been illegal, so I wasn't. But yes, the stop sign, that I'll admit, that was illegal, but I was like going 1 kilometer an hour. So yes. All right, on to the next one. How does the slide work when you're not hooked up? Is the generator or is it really solar power, the battery enough? And could they be manually moved? Okay, most slide outs are electronic. They're not manual, but they all have a manual override, nearly all of them. So your slide out will open in and out on your 12-volt power as long as you've got some charge or you're plugged in. If your slide out is not going in or out, nearly every one of them has a manual override mechanism. It is usually inconvenient, a problem to use, but technically it works. So if you do have a slide out, look it up on YouTube, find out how you do the override for your particular slide out. But every slide out has an override. That override is basically just to get it in so you can go home and get it repaired. It's not the kind of thing that it's just like a manual in and out thing. There's, I think, a few manual slide outs on the back of some trailers, but for the most part, yeah. Honestly, if you can get an RV without a slide out and you can make the space work, I'd recommend that. We really like the slide out, and we were going to a smaller RV than we had previously had, so we really were feeling the tightness of a non-slide out. So I'm okay that I got it, and knock on wood, it still works. But every time I bring it back in, my wife sees me like sigh a breath of relief, because every single time I bring in my slide out, I go, oh, please work, every single time. Yeah, but it has worked. Knock on wood. Probably won't now because I said that. All right, we're almost there. Just my grease guy. That's right. I grease all the jacks out there. Uh, greasing and jacking, we like to call it in the Ember community. So last channel. Oh, last question I have here. This was I did some talking about the crazy extreme mountain passes here in BC and Alberta. Somebody asked me if I'd ever been over the Donner Pass or the Grapevine in California, and I think I answered their comment as well. But I've driven over, I think, every large pass in California. That's where I learned how to RV. I was originally a Californian. I definitely burnt some brakes out in the beginning as I've learned how it works. But yes, I've been through some of the biggest passes, but I will say none of them in California have blown me away like some of the passes here in Canada. I didn't think I would see so many 12, 13, and 14% inclines. It blows my mind. That's just the way it is. It's very steep mountains here. And yeah, it's crazy passes. So it's one of the reasons I got a truck that was bigger than what I needed because I knew I was going to need some overhead to get through those mountain passes. And yeah, so I have been through those passes, and I've been, I think, through most of the passes on the West Coast at this point, from the Grapevine up to what's the one in Seattle that goes over Snoqualmie? I think it is Snoqualmie Pass. Yeah, done them all. So, yep. And that is it on my Q&A. I'll ask Johanna. Send me, I think, did I handle all the questions that you sent me? If not, text me. Let's see where we're going. Yeah, I think I got them all. So, what is the next thing? I don't think we got much more here. Oh yeah, so channel support. When do you get to podcast? Yes, Dieter. Okay, so Dieter and my wife really should do a podcast. Some recorded videos. We talked about actually setting it up for this Christmas break, but the schedule got really full. So in 2025, I expect that we will probably set up a not live because I don't think I'm ready to release Dieter and Johanna to the world live without some editing. um, you can't take back these live sessions once they go out. But no, I think we're going to do something. I have some ideas. If you haven't met or met Dieter's, we've done interviews with Dieter before. My wife showed up on this channel. They get along great, but they are extreme opposites, and it's really interesting to hear them talk. So hopefully we can get Dieter, this classic dude from South Africa who's been around the world a few times and has his own salty sense of things, and my wife, who's a fairly wokish, very confident female who has her own opinions, very strong opinions. I think putting these two in the same session would be internet gold. So yeah, we'll start something like politics. Exactly. No, we'll start with something about RVing. Let's start with RVing. That's what this channel's about. So yes, expect to see some new things in 2025. And Dieter and Joe, Oil and Water, I think is what we're calling it, will be possibly a little show on this channel that I think you'll find enjoyable. So let me pop over to here. I just want to thank a lot of the supporters here. The people in this room, in this chat right now, I know are some of the biggest fans I have, and I really appreciate it. This channel is growing, and I appreciate all the support you have. Just subscribing is support enough. I really appreciate it. As you saw tonight, you can always, there's the YouTube super like, which is like, dropping a few bills in the Buskers, acoustic guitar case. There's of course Patreon, where I'm really going to try to involve my Patreon members in the channel, kind of help them, help me think about what are the coolest next ideas, kind of vet some of the thinking I have. I've already got some great ideas from Cindy on, how to do my next camping videos, kind of change them up a little bit. So thank you, Cindy, for your feedback. And of course, there's merchandise at the fourth wall. I think I've talked about this before, right? We've got merch now. Thanks to, I didn't want to say the names in case they bought it for like their husband or wife or something, but thanks to the handful of people that have purchased already. I know we've got shirts going to Australia already, turducken shirts heading out there. That's awesome. We do have some merch up. We got a bunch in. You've already seen me wearing some of it on the channel. I deleted a couple items that I felt like as I got them, I wasn't happy with how they looked, but anything you see on that site right now, I'll vouch for. So if you want to have a turducken shirt or something, feel free to check those out. Oh yeah, and then the final thing here, let's just get to it. And here it is. Here's the top 10 list of the craziest RVs from RVs Gone Wild. I looked through every single video to make this list. 34 videos. I did scroll quickly through some, but it was hard to choose. But here are at least 10 of the craziest RVs that I've seen so far in 34 episodes of RVs Gone Wild. This one I've been looking at for a long time, since RVs Gone Wild #2, and I still don't exactly know what's going on here. Whether it's a chopped up like fifth wheel that's been turned into a sliding camper, or it's some kind of sliding camper that's been attached. I just don't get it. So there's extra axle back there. I've looked zoomed in. I do not think it's photoshopped. It's definitely not AI. Yeah, but it made it as number 10. Okay, number 9. This one freaked me out because I've actually camped at the RV park in 2 different RV parks next to this raceway. This is the Pomona Raceway, where we had a plane crash, and the plane crashed right into the RVs. This was in episode number 32, not too long ago. But yeah, I joked in the episode, I plan for power outages, fires. I plan for all kinds of contingencies. I don't plan for plane crashes. But seeing that I've stayed, sorry, seeing that I've stayed next to this raceway twice in 2 different RV parks, I'm now going to be very paranoid when I stay there. So yeah, that's number 9. Number 8. Yeah, from number 1, this was a classic. This was from the very first one. This practically inspired me to make this series. This guy was getting pulled over for a U-Haul with a U-Haul flat tow trailer with a truck on the flat tow trailer, and the truck was hooked to the fifth wheel. I mean, that is very unique, and all of the RVs Gone Wilds I've not seen anyone try this again. So, yeah, that's a unique one. Yes, there we go. All right, on to the next one. Number 7. There we go. The plane turned into a Class A RV. I've seen a few planes turn into a Class A RV, but this one was the best one for sure. And it was really nice the way they kept the interior pretty much 100%. So you're like in a plane when you're sitting in this thing. Check out episode number 5 if you want to see. There's video, the interior, the outside. And it also made it into like 3 other ones because people kept sending me pictures when they'd see it on the road. So I've gotten a dozen or more pictures of this from various people. This one's in Europe and has actually made it into Middle East as well. Apparently, they sold these around the world, just not much in the States. But this is a bus that's been converted so that it has basically 25 sleeping chambers on the back, and it's made to go touring around for multiple days. And you can, you stay and sleep on this. It's basically an RV, right? That or a cruise ship turned into a tour bus. But I just loved the idea. I just looked all these funny Europeans looking all happy in their little sleeping chambers. It just cracked me up. I thought, what a great idea. I wish we'd see those over here. All right, number 5. I think I mentioned this in one of my videos. This was me being stupid, and when I took my RV into the mud. So I don't know, maybe it stands out to me because it was me. I still got like mud inside my door, I think, from that. But yeah, lesson here is don't go driving in the mud with your RV. And if you do, make sure you got real mud tires. And lots of people are around. Okay, this is number 4. And we just had this number 34. And this is probably the most gorgeous interior of an RV I've seen ever. It's built on the chassis of a big cat dealer. I see that. It's built on a full size truck, so that's why it can be so heavy. But it's all wood. It's all beautiful. Obviously, it's got bunks in the back. We don't need those. But yeah, this thing is awesome. And I think my favorite part of this, besides the beautiful bath and all the beautiful woodwork and the skylights, is it actually has a full size bath built into it, and that bath overlooks the living room and basically the TV. So here you can see they've got this living area that has the main bed that comes down automatically. And then if they fold up the chairs, here you go, and they lift up the floor, they've got a full bed or full bath down there with jets. I don't know how many RV trips I've been on after a long hike. The idea of being able to have this at the end of a long day out RVing, that's just beautiful. I love it. Yeah, Mike brought up the Elvis Jet RV. That's another one of the plane RVs I was talking about. It's also been on this channel. But yeah, this, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't make it number 1, but because there's some crazy ones coming up. But this was probably the most beautiful interior. I love this RV. All right, on to the next one. All right, the Boater Home. Heavy D Sparks just bought another one of these. He's a famous YouTuber. His was not in such good shape, but this is one of the best ones out there. I think there's only a handful of there's only a handful of these out there. But yeah, this boat basically tucks into this van, and when it's tucked into the van, the boat effectively becomes, an RV, right? You can still walk from the front seats into the boat, making the boat an RV. And it's called the Boater Home. And there's again only a handful left in existence. I think only like 6 or something were ever made in the first place. But let's go on to number 3. No, sorry, number 2. All right, again, this was featured in number 1. I had a photo of it, and then number 2, I finally got video footage. This is someone who I guess didn't have access to a fifth wheel, so they welded or attached a pull bumper onto the back of the fifth wheel. And not only that, you can barely see it in here, but they actually reversed the. Oh, Mike says he saw this in California. Yeah, it looks like it'd be California. And then they reversed the hitch on the back because the weight was like going up, right? You can see it's lifting the back. So rather than putting down bumper weight, it was lifting the back of the truck. So they reversed the hitch. So it's the opposite. It's a negative tongue weight. It's negative tongue weight. I mean, how this person did not get pulled over, I don't know if it is illegal. Now that after all these years, I'm saying it out loud. I don't know if this is illegal, but it's unsafe. That's for sure. That's just dumb. But yeah, a lot of people liked it. It made the first videos very popular. And finally, we're going to go to number 1. Number 1 was another one that came up recently. I still don't have a lot of information on this. At the time, I looked it up and couldn't find a lot. I probably should look again. But this was basically a trailer blowing over the side of a bridge. Now, luckily, no one was in it. It came disconnected from this truck right before the camera started. And you can see there's another truck that's already tipped over on here. So if you're ever heading onto a bridge with your truck and a trailer, and as you look out on the bridge, you see a truck has tipped over, stop and don't go on the bridge. That's how I would think. It might have been too late by the time he got out there, but I've just never seen anything like this ever. And you would think that the disconnect brakes would, once it disconnected, the disconnect brakes would go into place, but I don't think that mattered here, Cody. I think that the wind was so strong. First of all, how did it disconnect from the truck, right, in the first place? And honestly, Nick, I don't know. I got this off of, I think it was an Instagram or a reel on net, and I tried looking it up, and I could not find information on it. I'm assuming it's in the States, just kind of from the look of the vehicles. But if anybody knows anything about this, send me more information on it because it blew my mind. I wish I could have got a better picture too. This is a vertical video from far away. It looks awful, but it's still the craziest RV crash or thing I've seen. So that's why it made it to number 1. And I think that is slide number 70 of 70. Here we are. We're at the end. And it is 6:06, so we're at the hour. So this is kind of working out. I covered a lot of questions. I appreciate everyone's questions. I want to thank everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean primarily the people in this room, the people who joined this live conference. More importantly, everyone who's been watching and supporting this channel. I mean, 3 million clicks on videos here. I have many people to thank, and I thank all of you. You're making this channel a success, and I want to hear your feedback. So you can drop me comments, tell me what you really think. You can mail me at RVingWithJoe@gmail.com. If you don't want to make a public comment, that's perfectly okay. But thanks to everybody. I do want to thank a few of the sponsors that helped me out this year. All Powers. I have another charging unit coming in and a new flexible solar unit, so expect to see a video from them coming in. I can't wait to try that out. Set Power, I use that refrigerator, that cooler every week. It's pretty much in my truck full time. And Highlands RV Repair is the local sort of Woody's replacement guy. Woody's is great and all, but you need to have that RV guy, right? You need to have that person you call who can come in his van and just make your life better. And Lorenzo at Highlands has been wonderful. I was so stoked that I found him. So I want to thank them. And again, if you feel like helping out, no obligation, just watching is enough. But you can reach out and do the YouTube super likes, join Patreon. I really want to kind of create a community there. And check out the merchandise. If you have merchandise ideas, shoot them my way too. I'm going to have a couple of cups coming out, unbreakable, like tin, metal camping cups. with RVing with Joe. Those will be up soon. Get that beard to match the eyebrows. I used to color my beard, Dieter. It's funny you mentioned that. Thank you, Dave. And I know I still want to do a RVing with Joe camping trip here locally. There are some things standing in the way of me doing it this year, but I'm looking to do like a local meetup, Dave. I think you had that idea a while back, so thank you. Yeah, Dieter, going back to your statement, yeah, I dyed my beard for years, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, why? And there you go. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Let's see, that's the last slide. Thank you, everybody. This will be online. I don't think there's anything for me to edit out. I don't think I said anything bad, and expect a lot next year. Expect some more opinion ones. Expect some more camping ones, and of course, RV's Gone Wild every other week. I can't stop now. There's everybody seems to love them. So thank you for all the support. That's about it. Thank you, Johanna. That's the person I should be thanking the most here is my wife. Not only is she a huge supporter of the channel, she's in the background helping me with a lot of these videos. She's effectively my producer. So thank you very much, Johanna. She's been watching this chat, shooting me information, keeping me up to date. I couldn't do this without her. And she also gave me a great idea on that next video. Does your wife really enjoy camping? Well, watch that video and find out what I mean by that. So thanks, everybody. Like I always say, and I couldn't mean it more, make sure to get busy living. Every day, is a day that's gone that you don't get back. So try to make the best every day. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a great Christmas break. Stay cool or stay warm, depending on where you are in the country right now. And, on my channel, everyone's cool. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye. Now, how do I end this thing? Oh, I guess I'll end it with my oh, there we go. That's it. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. Press the button. There it is.